Yahweh, we thank you for this opportunity to come before you today on this Yom Shabbat. We're eternally thankful, Yahweh, that you've remembered us as a people. Yahweh, we ask that you would show us your mercy and your grace and your compassion. We ask, Yahweh, that you would teach us. Teach us your ways, Yahweh. Continue to be patient with us, Yahweh. Continue to guide us. Continue to lead us. Forgive us, Yahweh, for our transgressions and our iniquities and our sins against you and only you, Yahweh. We praise you and we thank you today. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Praise be to the living Elohim Yahweh. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Can everyone hear me?
Yep.
Say yes.
Shabbat Shalom to you.
Shabbat Shalom.
Yes, today the lesson, I don't believe it's going to be very long, but you never know what the Most High is going to do with us and what he's going to show us and what he's going to teach us. But let's go ahead and get started with this right quick. Hallelujah. Praise right here. Hopefully today I'll be able to get some cooperation with my pen, this little pen that I use, and also too, maybe the internet won't be tripping as hard today. So praise be to Yahweh. I'm thankful again to be able to present to you some teachings that we've gone over this last week. The name of our Torah portion this week is called Bow. I didn't have too much time to talk about it. This week we dealt with so many different, aspects of the Torah portion. But indeed, we need to understand. We need to understand what. Could you put your device on mute? Thank you. Everyone, make sure that your device is on mute, and then if you need to speak, you can go ahead and do that. Because what happens is it breaks my thoughts. So anyway, this word is being used all throughout the Torah portion. And I found it to be used in several different ways. First of all, it is a bet and an aleph. Maybe I should put a different color so you can see it better. That green is a little too light. Yes. A bet and an aleph. Okay. And that is bow. But also, too, I saw it in the Torah portion as a bet and a wah, okay, which has the little dot over it, which is an O sound too. So we understand that the word bow can be used in several different ways, okay? This way right here with a bet and the aleph means to go or to come. Okay, and we're going to get a little bit more information about that. This one right here, the bottom one, the bet is being used as a preposition, and this O means it. Okay, so the bet means with it. Okay, the it that's being discussed and talked about when we're talking about this in particular bow is this actual lamb or goat, which is known as the Pesach offering. Okay. So I found that to be quite interesting because, I'm looking for this word, the bet and the aleph, but I also saw that it was in this form as well. So that directed my attention to, well, this is the focus. The focus is the lamb or the goat. That's the focus. And so that was something. And so, you would have to, like he asked us to do, to go and get, okay, go and take to you a lamb. And if you know your Torah portion, what time did they supposed to go do this?
in twilight.
Yeah, but when did they supposed to go take the lamb for themselves and bring it to their home?
During the first month.
What day?
The 7th.
10th day. Okay. And they supposed to take it and they supposed to hold it until what day?
21st.
The 14th.
14th. Okay. And that's going to be a 5-day hold. Somebody tell me why 5 days?
Get all the impurities.
Absolutely. To get rid of all the impurities. Okay. Now, this offering that was given, what was it for? Why did he ask them to go get it?
And Passovers.
Yes. Okay. He wanted it for the Passover. Okay. Called the Pesach. Okay. This thing is trying to irritate me. And Pesach means to skip over or to cross over. Okay. Or pass over. Okay. And the blood was going to be used as a
Sign.
sign. Okay. That's what it's going to be used as a sign. Okay. The Most High is using this as a sign, not just to them, but he's using it as a sign for what they would call the destroyer that's coming. Okay. As you know, Yah says that death is coming. Okay. So look, I want you to understand that when Yah is talking to us through the scriptures, he's letting us know, like, I'm going to tell you what I want you to do because I'm going to do something. Okay. So the Most High was coming. He's coming. And he was going. Okay. To come is to go. And he's going. And he was going to execute judgment on who?
Egypt.
He's going to do it on Mitzrayim. And don't forget, who else is he executing judgment on? Huh? The gods.
Yes. Gods.
Okay. So what Yah is doing, and as I expressed to you earlier this week, Yah is using this animal, okay, in order to destroy the idea about their gods, because they deified the lamb and they deified the goat. These were deities to the Egyptians. I did go back and find where that verse is. It's chapter 8, verse number 24 through 26, where Pharaoh tried to get Moshe to do his sacrifice in the land of Mizraim. And what that was a trap. That was a trap. And Moshe said, you know that if we sacrifice this, it's an abomination, not the sacrifice itself, but the manner in which they're doing it, because they would be killing their gods in front of the people. So therefore, it would have been a trap for them, because the people, he said, don't you know that the people will kill us? So no, we can't sacrifice right here, right? So that was a trap. In our text this week, we found out about different snares. Okay. The Egyptians had stated to Pharaoh, the wise and his counselors and his men around him, is like, hey, don't you know that this guy is becoming a snare to us? That this in particular situation is a trap? That's a trap for us. What we need to do is, send them away so they can go serve their gods. And so one of the things that Pharaoh kept doing is playing games. He says, well, who's going with you? And he said, all your men can go, but who else is going? He said, well, our children are going, And he says, and all our animals. And he says, no, you got to leave the kids. And then there was another, back and forth. And then again, he turns around and asks the question next time after the judgments, hey, who's going? Go and worship, And he says, well, who's going? He said, you can go, but you can't take any of your animals. He says, no, we need to take our animals because we don't know which ones we're going to sacrifice to the Most High. So, it was a back and forth, and it was a bunch of, traps. He was trying to set traps for them. Okay. And he was trying to make sure and gave them a hindrance where they wouldn't go out and be able to worship the Most High. Okay. So there was this idea about these snares and these traps. Most High wants us to know that, we have to be aware of the traps that are being set for us as a people. I think often we don't think about that, because we're walking with the Most High. We don't really take the time to understand that there are traps that are being set. I mentioned a couple of them this week when we talk about the individuals that are out here that are, trying to tell Yah's people that they don't have to do what he says because they're in exile. They don't have to listen to what he says. They don't have to learn the Hebrew language. They don't have to do anything, right? So it's just kind of like hey, we're in exile. Yah sent us here. We can't keep the Passover. We can't, it's a lot of, we can't do it the way that he said do it. So therefore we're not going to do it at all. And that's that false sense of humility that they're using to justify their position of not doing what he says. And it's very upsetting, and it makes me angry when I think about it. At first I got a little sad, like, oh, this is too bad that they don't really see it. But the fact of the matter is that they don't want to see it. Okay. So there's a trap that's being set out for our people. And the trap is that the Most High has forgotten about his covenant. He's not interested in the words that he said. The trap is that there's someone else out there, that they follow called their Messiah that will be able to, get them through their sins, which they don't fully understand, what sin is. Okay. But let's look at the Hebrew, because the Hebrew language tells us everything. It really spells everything out for us. I keep bringing it up because if we don't know this language and we don't know its culture, then we don't understand how things were said and the purpose of, what was being said and what's being spoken. So again, our Hebrew word is called bow. I have it from left to right here because I just want you to be able to understand it, but it really should be written this way, a bet and then the aleph. Okay. So what do we know about the bet? Let's talk about that right quick. What do we know about it? What does it represent?
The house, the tent, dwelling.
Yes. So it's a house, the tent, the dwelling. That's where it's used as a preposition, something to give you a position about with or in or against. Okay. On. Okay. All these different words that are being used to represent this, because you can go in the tent, it's with the tent. Somebody can come against it. You could put something on it. That's the reason why they use this in particular letter to say those grammatical prepositions. But also too, the tent represents the family. That's what the tent represents. It represents the family. Okay. Inside the tent is the family. And inside the tent, there is what they would call an Av, which is just the reverse of this. Okay. And what's an Av?
Father.
Good. And so he's with someone called an aim. And who's this?
Mother.
Thank you. So they both share the aleph. Okay. And the aleph is an ox, which tells us that it has strength and that it's strong. Okay. So we do a lot of focusing on what the father is because he's the strength of the house, right? But also too, I don't want to not tell you what the mother is. Okay. The mother is just as important as the father. Things will not work without the mother. So here's the father. Okay. Okay. Here's our word bow. Excuse me. Okay. And then we have what they call the mother. So we know what this letter means. It means the strength, the aleph. Okay. That's the name of the letter. What is the final mem? What does that represent?
Water.
Okay. When a child is in their mother's womb, what are they in?
Water.
They're
Fluid.
in water. When the child is coming out of the mother, what comes out?
Water.
Water. When the child is inside the mother, the child is breathing. Is breathing this water. So we're like a little fish, a little tadpole. Okay. But from the sense of the agricultural understanding is that this water for the mother is one that is a strong water. Okay. She's a strong water. Strong. Now, when they would take the animal skins, what they would do is they would boil them, right, inside of, some water. And once they boil the animal skins, there was this very sticky substance that would come off of the skin. And they would use that as glue, okay, to hold things together, like what they call it, a liquid cement. Okay. So like a glue. So her root of her name has to do with glue. It has to do with binding, and it has to do with something that's very strong, something can hold everything together. So the father, he is the strength of the home, but the mother is the glue of the family. Somebody tell me, what do I mean by her being the glue of the family?
She's one that keeps the family together.
Yeah.
Where the father is the one that is going to keep them standing strong, though.
Yes. So listen to this. So the mother, the okay, you call her or Aim, Ima or Aim, she's the one who holds the family together. And there has to be a purpose behind holding the family together. Somebody tell me, what's the purpose? Besides holding them together, what's the purpose of her holding them together?
Serve the Most High.
Yes, because what she wants to do is the purpose of the purpose of a family is for it to be strong. Okay. The purpose of the family is to hold everybody together. If you hold everybody together, there is more strength and there's more unity. There's more cohesion. Okay. So the mother's job is to hold the family together because she wants to make sure that the seed, which in this case would be the son, the bane. She wants the bane, the son, to continue. Okay. She wants this to continue because if you look at his name, which is son, S-O-N, he's called a bane. And he has what in it? He has the bet, which is the tent. And then he has the noon, which is the seed. Looks like a little sperm cell. Okay. So it's a continuation of the family. That's what he is. Okay. He's the seed. So look at what Rivka did for her son, right? She said, oh, I know where the blessing is going. So what I need to do is I need to make a move in order to continue this promise, because she didn't want it to be given to the wrong one, which is Esau. But also, too, she has sent her son away so he wouldn't be destroyed by his brother. She said, why should I lose both my sons in the same day? She was going to have to kill. She said, if I lose, she's implying that if I lose Yaakov, then I'm also going to lose Esau because I'm going to kill him that same day. And why should I lose both my sons in one day? That's the kind of woman she was. That's the kind of mother she was. Okay. So I wanted to bring attention to this because I think it's important. I do a lot of talking about the father, but I want to let you women know that you are just as important. You're very significant to the family, and you have a very special role to play because your job is to make sure that everything continues and everyone stays together. Okay. This concept and this idea is also seen in our Torah portion, because the Most High uses a word that we're going to go over later about bringing us together. Okay. Also, too, a lot of Yah's words that he uses, for example, the Torah, okay, the kuquim, okay? It's really what kuka, that's what it really is before it is a im, plural, okay? A mitzvah. Okay. So I want you to understand this If you've been in my Hebrew class, you know what this is. Or here, the Ada that we talked about earlier this week, which is the congregation. They all have this ending, okay, which is the Let me put a different color so I can really explain what I'm saying to you. They all have the Why?
Feminine.
Thank you. Did you know that your soul is called Nefesh Ka? That's okay? Nefesh Ka, okay? The soul is feminine, right? So what the Most High has done is he's designed his instructions, his directions, his congregation, his decrees, his commandments in the feminine in order to direct. See? So literally what the Most High is using as his mother, oh, praise be to you today, Yahweh. Woo, my goodness, praise be to you. Yah is using his instructions, okay, as a mother to his people. I hope you can see this. That's why he directs his Torah towards the Nefeshka. The Ada is part of the Nefeshka for the assembly. The decrees, the Kukah, is the feminine. The commandments is instructed by a feminine. Yah is being a mother to us through his words. You see? Do you understand that? Because his desire is to bring us to certain places and to guide us and to lead us. And he gives the command, right? So for example, he gives the command as the Father, he gives the command, but then also too, he wants it to be carried out through these methods, which is the Torah, the Kukah, the Mishpatah, the Bekudah, okay? So all these ahs. So the Most High is revealing that. So in a sense, he's being like a mother to us as well. I also brought out the idea that the Most High is called El Shaddai. And the Shaddai has to do with the breast. He's the Elohim of the breast, which is the mother, the one who sustains the family, the one who the child is drawn to, okay? So I wanted to bring that point out. In our Torah portion this week, we saw again that every word in the Hebrew has an action, okay? Just about everyone has an action. And the language itself is an actionable language. It's not a dormant language. It's not a dead language. It's actually a living language. And so when he says words, they're supposed to, they move you. They're supposed to move you. They have life in them. That's why he says, if you do what I'm telling you, it'll bring life to you, right? So the life that he's giving to us is through the words that he's speaking. So in this word, ba, okay, which means to go or to come, is the action, and the action is to, to feel. That means to feel something. That's the action of this word bo, okay? So we're going to see that the Most High has used this word all through the Torah this week to tell us that his goal is to feel something. And what does he want to feel? What does he want to make complete? If something needs to be filled, it means that it's what?
Empty.
Complete.
It's empty. Okay. Another aspect of the Hebrew language and its words is that we don't look for only abstract, like we don't like to put words out there that we can't put our finger on. So what the Most High has done is he's established what it really means. Okay. So there's an action, and then he's established what we will call a concrete meaning. So the concrete meaning here is in the word bo, there's a void. Okay. So the Most High is interested in filling the void. Filling the void. There's filling a place of that which is empty. Okay. So let's think about it. When the Most High is telling the children of Israel to get prepared to kill the god of the land and the what they call the deities of the goat and the lamb, what he's doing is he's teaching the children of Israel that I'm going to destroy these gods. And once he destroys these gods, it creates what they will call a void in their understanding about what Elohim truly is, right? Like they don't know. They've been worshiping all these other gods, because it does say that in Ezekiel 20 that the children of Israel, they did not give up their gods when they were there, but there was still this idea where Yahweh says there's a void that I'm interested in filling. That's the reason why he came. Okay. So there was a cry. Remember, we talked about the cry. There was a Za'akwa. They cried out to the Most High because they had a need and they had a desire. And his goal is to fill that void, that emptiness that they have. Yah has introduced himself, and he's literally put himself in the lives of these people. Okay. Something that they didn't want, something that they didn't fully understand. Okay, so this is the reason why Yah has come. Yah has come to fill the void. Okay, there's this idea about willingness that I want to discuss. The word ba, meaning to go or to come and to fill the void, has a word that is very closely related to it, and it's called ba. Okay, so we have a bet and we have the hay. Okay. It's called ba, okay? And there's another word called abba, okay? They just put an aleph on front of it, and it means to be willing, okay? To have a willingness. And I'm going to talk about that a little bit right now, okay? So this idea of willingness, right, has to be within someone who is going or coming. They have to have this desire, and that's what ba means. Okay, it means to be willing. Again, this one has an action as well, and here's the action. And I want you to see the direct connection between let me put this up right here. I mentioned to you so far the Av, which is the father. Okay, I mentioned to you the mother, which is the I mentioned to you there's the bet right here for bo. Okay. I mentioned to you now this ba. Okay. I mentioned to you the eba. Okay. So all these words are connected in a sense. Okay. So they all have a lot in common, which are the aleps and the bets. Okay. So this idea behind this ba right here, the action is very closely related to the ba. This sounds bo and then ba. So the action here for this one is there's a need. There's a need. A need to be what? A need to be filled. There's a need, okay, to be filled. Why? Why is there a need to be filled? Because there exists a what?
Void.
There's a void. Okay. So I want to show you the actual concrete meaning that has been established about what that void is. So from a Hebraic perspective, it's talking about a box. Okay. It's talking about a box. And when you have a box, I'm not a great artist, so don't be mad at me. When we have this box, okay, it's empty. Okay. And an empty box has what purpose?
To be
It has,
filled.
yeah, you need to fill it, right? But how meaningful is an empty box? What is a box that's empty? Nothing. It's just empty. Okay. So a box is made in order for it to be filled, to put things in it. When you put something in it, you have to put it in there, and the manner in which you put it, you have to organize. Okay, you have to organize that which is inside this box. Okay. So how does this all tie into our Torah portion? The Most High, it says that he right? He's coming. And he's going in order to fill the need of his children. They're empty. They're empty. The gods that they've been serving have not done them well. Okay, so Yah has now created this vacuum. Now that he's destroying the gods, and now that he's showing them that they're nothing, and that their whole lives have been literally empty and meaningless, he wants to know whether or not, listen, whether or not they're willing. Are you willing for me to fill this box? Are you willing for me to be part of your life? I'm here. Okay, I've come. But now the question is whether or not you have a willingness to have your void filled. And are you willing to fill the void that I have, that I need you to fill? Okay, because the purpose of us being created is to fill a void. And the void that has been created through mankind is this separation between the Most High and creation. And you and I have been created in order to fill that void, right? A void means like for example, there's two different spaces. Let me see if I can, I got on the wrong thing. There's two different spaces, for example, or a bridge. Let me give a better example. Now that I wrote that out. So we know about the box, but also too, there is a gap. Come on, cooperate. There's a gap. There's a gap, which is what you would call a void. There's been what they will call a space between Yahweh and creation. Okay. And in this case, this is a horizontal, but we would take this and look at a vertical. Okay, because Yah is not on a horizontal plane. What he is he's up here, and between him and the earth, man is down here, and Elohim is up here. Okay, and there has to be a connection between man and Elohim. Okay, and the individual that's supposed to fill this space is the children of Israel. They're the ones who're supposed to fill this space, or what they would call this void. Okay. That's what our job is. We're the ones who're supposed to be the connection. Okay. So if you really think about it, the existence of mankind is contingent upon us. And what I mean by that is that if man doesn't eventually come back to the Most High, right, then he'll destroy us. He'll destroy everybody. There's no need. If he's made the sun, the moon, and the stars for the covenants with David and Levi, and for the sons and daughters of Abraham, Yitzhak, and Yaakov, and we're not fulfilling that purpose, right? We're not being the box that's filled. We're not being the connection. Then we failed, and there's no reason, right, to have even any of this down here. And I think that's the reason why we don't really fully understand the significance of why he have established us as a people. This can, answer questions of why, and how, look for the right word, how firm Yah has been with us, because we haven't done what he's asked us to do. Okay, we haven't filled that void. I've got to pick up my pace here. So that's what those words mean, a willingness. What we understand too is that Paro, he was unwilling to do what Yah said. Okay. He says, but Yahweh made Paro hard-hearted, and he would not let them go. That word "not" right there, or "would not," is dealing with our Hebrew word Ava, which is the aleph and the bet and the hey. Okay. This is feminine. All right. He would not let them go. Okay. The let them go is not let them go, only go, but shalak, he would not send them away. Okay. But the bottom line is he was not willing. So he's letting us know that a person that is not willing to do what he says has a hard heart against him. That's why he's giving us this example about Paro. Paro was not willing to do it. Okay. And because of his lack of willingness, and because he didn't want to be Avah, right? He didn't want to yield to the Most High. He didn't want to do what the instructions were. Yah has allowed him to be hard-hearted. And what I'm going to share with you, which is pretty scary, is the fact that if you and I continue to be unwilling, then Yahweh is going to do to us what he's did to Paro. And I'm talking about us as individuals, right? So if you and I keep refusing to do what he says, right, he's going to allow us to be hard-hearted. And what that hard-heartedness means is that I'm going to give your mind over to what you want to do. Okay. I'm going to give your mind over to what you want to do. So I've been talking to you over and over and over again. You have not listened to anything that I've said. I've been sending my prophets to you. I've been talking to you. I've been asking requests of you. I've been saying things to you, but you haven't been listening to me. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to give you what you really want. I'm going to allow your mind to become hard, where you won't be able to receive anything that I say. Okay. And did it make Yah unrighteous by doing so? No, he's giving Paro what Paro wanted, what he wanted. And Yah will do the same with us. He says, if I keep talking to you, you're not listening to me, I'm going to give you your mind. I'm going to give you your mind. I'm going to let you have your mind. If that's what you want, if you want to sit around and watch television all day and watch movies and be entertained with your friends, and you're more caught up in other things and you don't want to give any attention to what I'm saying, I'm what you're asking for. You're harden your heart against me. Therefore, I know that you're not going to listen to anything I say. So it wasn't like Yah hardened his heart because he was, being mean towards Paro. The bottom line is in Paro, the Most High knew that he never wanted to listen to him. So he just gave him what he wanted. And what he gave him was this. I know that he's not willing. That's the reason why I allowed him to be hard-hearted, which means to have his mind, to make him stubborn. If you find yourself where you're not listening to anything the Most High says, or you're just kind of placate him and you're just, trying to find excuses on why you do what you do, you might read the Torah portion, but you never give enough attention to it. You're not interested in the language. You're not interested in what he's saying. Then Yah says, I'm going to do the same thing that I did to Pharaoh. I'm going to do to you, because everything that we're involved in, everyone, is about a relationship. This is real. This is real. Here's an example for us. It says the servant replied, suppose the woman isn't willing to follow me to this land. Must I bring your son back to the land from which you came? You see? So we see that word bow right there, of course. Here's a little example of bow. Okay. Should I go back? But the question is, what if this woman isn't willing? Here, the servant is Eleazar, which is El is my helper. And he's talking to his master, which is Abraham. And Abraham sent him on a mission to go find a wife for his son and said, hey, go find a wife for my son. But the servant asked a good question. What if this woman isn't willing? What if she's not willing to follow me? And to follow means, to halak means to walk after me and come back to be able to live the life that we're asking her to live with this man. What if she's not willing to do that? And the master gave a response, which I'm going to share with you in just a moment. But again, the Most High is pointing us to this idea of willingness. When the Most High presented the children of Israel with their marriage contract, okay, which is to say, before he even gave them any words, before he spoke any words them, he asked them those two things, like I keep telling you. He asked them, are you going to listen to what I'm saying and obey it? And are you going to guard what I said? So everything is about what Yahweh said and what he says. That's what it is. What he said and what he says. Are you going to do these things? Do you have a willingness to do this? Because there's no reason to be in a relationship with anybody that's not willing to do what you say, or to listen, or to obey, okay, what you say. Because if they don't listen to what you say, that means that they don't trust you. That's the reason why they're not willing, is because they don't trust what you're saying. You know, you look at it from a managerial position, or a business position, or we got some CEOs in here. We got some people who are over individuals. People won't listen to you because they don't trust you. Your wife won't listen to you because she doesn't trust you. See? So why would you be married to a woman that don't trust you? Why? You have to, the trust has to be there. See, this is real talk. Okay? Why? Why would a man listen to a woman that he don't trust? It goes both ways. It's not just the woman that has to listen and trust the man. The man has to listen and be able to trust his wife, because the wife is the helper. She's an azer. She's the one who's supposed to give the man counsel, to say, okay, well, listen, this is what I see. I got your back. I see this. Did you see this? You got to be open to that. But it all has to do with a willingness. And it doesn't mean a willingness on one side of the relationship. There has to be a willingness between both sides. So when we look at this, the Most High is telling us through our relationships, and that's why he's given us marriage and all kind of stuff, is to let us know that this is the basis on which a relationship is based on. It's based on willingness. Pharaoh wasn't willing to let anybody go. That's why I had to do what I had to do. Now, I destroyed him. And I'm going to let you know, I will destroy you too. I will let your mind go so far away from me that you don't even consider me, that I will destroy you like I did him. I will bring my judgments on you to prove to you, because you're dealing with pride. You're not the only prideful person. Job was prideful. I had to deal with him the same identical way. I had to bring trouble on him. I had to bring judgments on him to break down his pride. I told the children of Israel that I'm coming to break this. I'm breaking this. That stiff-neckedness that you have, that stubbornness that's in you, that you got from the places that you've been, your unwillingness to listen to what I'm saying, I'm going to break you. And that's what he's telling us today. He's telling all of us, I will break you, okay? Because, why? Because I don't need anybody who's not willing. Just like you don't need anybody in your life that's not willing, I don't need you to be unwilling. If you're not willing to do it, if you're not willing to follow the instructions, then something has to change. If there's what they call incompatibility, right? Some things just don't work. Abraham understood this. He had enough wisdom to tell his servant, but if the woman is unwilling, that means that she's hard-hearted. She don't want to listen to what you're saying because you delivered a message. That Eleazar went there with a message from his master to make an offer. If you're not willing, if she's unwilling to follow you, then you are released from the obligation under my oath. Just don't bring my son back there. Don't let him be back there. So this is this idea of incompatibility. Okay. But you ask yourself, well, what does this have to do with Yah? Because you're telling us about a relationship, because I'm trying to get us to understand the relationship is the big deal. That's it with Yah. It's the essence, right? Because you and I have an essence about us. We have our character. And so when you talk about compatibility, you got to make sure that the person that you're with is the person that, this is the only example we have is family, right? And marriage, because that's like the strongest covenant on the face of this earth. Yes, Azanya.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay, praises, hallelujah, Shabbat Shalom. Question, so we know that, like you were saying, like if we don't submit to Yah, then he will give us a hardened heart, which is basically he'll destroy us. But like, isn't it like, doesn't the scripture say like he gets no pleasure out of destroying the wicked? Like if he made the seed of Israel to serve him, then we all basically have an appointment for righteousness, right?
Yeah, you do. It's just a matter of whether or not you have the willingness.
The willingness to do it. But like, how about Judah's son, Yehuda's son? Like, didn't he destroy because he said was just evil? You know what I mean? So I never quite understood that, like, so if he does perhaps notice one of his seeds or seedlings doesn't have an inherent goodness in him, then he will destroy it. I just don't quite understand.
Well, let me, I'm sorry for interrupting. Go ahead.
Sure. No, go ahead, please. If you can answer, please.
Yeah. So first of all, he had two sons, right? So the first one was right? Yah killed him, right? He killed him because he didn't like him. He didn't like something about it. He just killed him. I don't like you. Okay. The other one was called Onan. Okay. Onan was strong. He's full of vigor, and he had the opportunity, okay, to follow and raise up a son for his brother that Yah killed. And he was unwilling to follow what Yah said. He was unwilling to do what he had a capacity to do. So to answer your question is, yes, we're all in line for the promise, and we have this great responsibility to the Most High. But if you and I have this unwillingness to do it, to follow through with it, then Yah says there's no reason for you. There's no purpose for you. You see, there really truly isn't. Okay. Even when the Most High, when he hardened Pharaoh's heart, he told him, he said, look, I could have destroyed you and your whole entire land. But the only reason why I didn't do it is because I'm going to use you to let the world know about what I did here. That's the only reason why I haven't fully destroyed you. There's another example, Avimelech, the king who took Sarah from Abraham, and he was bragging about, I'm righteous. I didn't do such and such and such. And he said, no, the only reason why you haven't is because of what I did not allow you to do. Okay. So there's certain individuals that the Most High feels that if you don't serve his purpose, then you're gone. You're going to be out of the picture. That's just what it is. And we know that according to what we understand from our Torah portion this week, where he gives a command and says that anybody comates during the week of the Matzot will be cut off. That in particular soul will be cut off from its people. See, so we have the ability, okay? And I'm glad you asked that question, because we do possess the ability to do what Yah says. It's not a matter of ability. It's a matter of willingness. You might have ability, but do you have this? See, all of us have the ability to do things, right? And the things that we don't have the ability to do, Yah still asks us, like he asked Moshe. Moshe was like, I don't have the ability to speak. He said, that's okay. And he said, well, I can't. I'm not going to be able to do it. He said, Yah got mad. He got mad at him. He said, can't your brother Aharon, right? He's already on his way. So was the question about ability? No, Yah's not asking us if you and I possess ability. I don't need your ability. I'm the one who made the mouth. I made this, I made that. The idea is, are you ready to go? Or do you have a willingness? See? So what is your essence? What is your character? That's what Yah's after. That's what this book of Shemot is about. It's about the character. So when just looking at this example that I have up here about this woman, which this in particular woman is called Rivkah, ironically named after my wife. This is the Rivkah, okay? Rivkah was willing. She had ability. She was able to, give the water to the camels. She was strong. She was all over the place. And the servant had prayed to the Most High and said, let this be the test. Even though she passed the test from having ability, right? And she was proving that she was willing by giving the animals something to drink. She still had to make answer the question for herself, because her mother and her brother went to her. He says, hey, it's time for us to go. They said, well, can the girl stay with us for another 10 days? He said, look, let's don't, damper this. I'm just, putting a little quote out there. Don't stop this process. Yah's been good to us, and they said, well, let's go to her and ask her. And she said, yeah. Are you willing to go? Yeah, I'm willing to go. So the decision was still hers. So yeah, we might have ability. We might be able to pass the test from that perspective, right? But what is the essence of us? Are we really, really willing? I brought up Essence, not to bring up Essence magazine, but the essence is the condition of two things, right? Because I'm talking about incompatibility, right? So it talks about the condition of two things being so different in nature as to be incapable of coexisting together, right? But when you think about it, I'm asking this or bringing this up because you have to ask yourself, why did the Most High choose us? Which kind of goes to what you're talking about, Azania, when he knows that we're very different from him. We're very different from the Most High. Check this out. And the question is do we have the ability and the willingness to coexist? So obviously, Yah is interested because we are two things that are different. We're so different in nature, right? Yisrael is different in its nature than Yah. Okay, check this out. Well, we're so different. So why is it that he's saying that he wants to exist with us? How can we coexist with Yah when we're so different in nature? Somebody tell me. What is Yah's goal? If we're different, right? The condition of two things. What? Go ahead.
To be like him, to follow what he has for us.
Yes, exactly, Dr. Kavika. So what we're talking about is Yah already knows our condition, right? He knows our condition. He knows that we're different. So he's not interested in who we are in terms of our nature right now. What he's talking about is, I want to change you. I want to change your nature. I want to change your essence. I want to change your character because we are so different. That's why you and I have been incapable of coexisting together, because you don't think like me. Like in any marriage, if the person that you're living with is so different, I guess they call it where they go to get divorced and they say, what do they call it? Differences. Forgot the name.
I'm sorry. I think it's irreconcilable.
Yeah, irreconcilable.
Irreconcilable differences.
So you're incapable of coexisting because you guys are so different. You see? So they use that as a way for divorce. But the Most High is saying this. Look, I know that you are different in your nature than me, but I've been after you because I want to change this so we can coexist together. I want us to exist together. I want us to come, but guess what's going to happen? I'm not going to change. I'm not going to change because I don't change. So if I don't change, then who has to change? Azania, grateful, raised hand. Go ahead.
I was been meditating on Psalms Tehillim number 8 this week, and it asks the same question: what is man that you are mindful of him? Mortal man that you take a note of him, and that he gave his charge of the earth. And the question has kind of like an indeterminate answer. It really doesn't, it doesn't answer itself, it just poses the question. So I just wanted to say that.
So Psalms 8, but also too is Psalms 144. That's another, the question is asked is, what is man? Why would Yah consider us? And here's the good news, okay? not of, JC the Christ, because that's not good news. It's actually bad news. The good news is that the Most High is interested in us existing with him. Okay. And he's going to do this by changing our nature. Okay. But what he needs from us is what they call cooperation. And the cooperation is what they would call willingness. Are you willing to have your nature changed? That's the question. That's the question. Are you willing to learn? Are you willing to be led? Are you willing? What are you willing to do?
How you feeling?
Are you willing to sit and listen?
Come and eat.
Hey, somebody get on your, I think it's you, Kwa. Are you willing to sit and listen? Or are you incapable of doing that? You see? So that's the problem with our people, is that they don't listen. They don't want to listen to what he says. The first step in any relationship is having the ability to listen, a willingness to listen. And we can all learn from that. We all need to understand that that's very important. The Most High uses this idea of a koch, and a koch is a divine decree. It's divine. That's what's mentioned. Okay. We learned earlier this week about what a koch is. Okay. It's a divine decree. Okay. A koch is the ket and the kof. Okay. And we also have the cog, which is the ket and the gamil. Okay. That's the cog. And the cog is a feast and festival, which brings people together. This right here is a decree. It's a divine decree, which is to gather that which has been separated. And Yah uses the divine decrees to gather us together, like a mother is used to gather her little chicks. Okay. Again, this is feminine. That's feminine. Okay. I'm bringing that which is separate together. So Yah uses the divine decrees, and the divine decrees are what they were called olam. Okay. This has been a thing that I've been fighting with people all week about, is about what's olam. Okay. Because now you have people saying that forever is not forever. You have people saying that it's only for a certain amount of time. Okay. But here's what it means. Olam means that, I just wrote it out here for you. It's going to be the ayin. That's this first letter right here. Ayin. The next one is a wa. So let's put our wa right here. Okay. That's a wa. The next one is a lamed, which is this one right here. We'll put a lamed. And then the next one is a mem, which is going to be called a final mem. Okay. So this is how olam is written in Hebrew. Okay. That's a final mem. The regular mem looks like this, but the final mem looks like a box. Okay. So what's the action? Because again, in Hebrew, this is a very actionable language, right? So what does it mean? Well, before I get into the action, when we talk about the ayin, what are we talking about?
The eyes.
The eyes. Okay. We talk about the wa, what are we talking about? Tent peg. What does a tent peg do?
Makes things stable.
Yeah, connection, right? So we got the connection. It adds stability. Thank you very much. That's beautiful. So we got stability. The lamed, what's the lamed used for?
Staff, authority.
Staff, authority.
Gather.
Yeah, thank you. To gather, to lead, to learn. Yeah, to lead, to learn. Okay. To push, to poke, and if necessarily to discipline. Here, listen. I want to discipline as well with this, because that's what I do. And I also fight with this because I use that to protect. Let's don't forget the protection aspect of the staff. Okay. And finally, the mem. What does the mem represent?
Water.
Yeah. So water or liquid, any kind of liquid, which could be blood, any other type of fluid. Okay. But also means from a grammatical standpoint, from, That's what they use as a preposition from, because you got to go from the tent to go to the water and from the water back to the tent to go get it. You got to go from one destination or one place to the next to go get it. So from, and also too has this, the function of it is movement. Okay, to move, right? So think about, when you think about water, you think about how it moves and, goes in waves and all types of things. It's heavy, it's strong, it looks for its lowest point. So that's how we're looking at this. All right. So when I'm looking at these things, I look at all those aspects before I look at a word, because I want to understand what is it speaking and what is it saying. Why are those letters used in this in particular word called olam? And now we're going to get the understanding, because it has an action. I think there's 2 questions. I have to refresh quickly. I messed up me and now I can't see the back screen. Let me see it. Have to refresh quickly. I messed up. Okay, no worries. It's all good. No worries. All right. So the action of this word olam is to hide. It's to hide. That's what this word actually means. Olam means to hide. Okay. So olam, O-L-A-M, that's how you spell it in English. Okay. In Hebrew, it's a ayin, a wa, a lamed, and a mem. Okay. But it means what they would call forever. Okay. It means eternal. Okay. Everlasting. That's what it means. Okay. But it means to hide something. Okay. So when we think about everlasting, we think about eternity, we think about olam, we're talking about hiding something. That's the action, is to hide it. So the Most High said that the Shabbat is olam, it's forever. So he actually hid something. And what did he hide? Well, from its abstract term, it means to be ancient. I'm hiding it. Okay. And when am I going to hide it from, or who? Let's see here. I'm going to hide it beyond the field of vision of time or space. Okay. This is a reason why when we talk about this word olam, meaning forever, the Most High is literally saying, I don't know why that thing don't want to work. What the Most High is literally saying, that I'm going to hide from your field of vision, which is that ayin, okay, of time or space, okay. There's that mem from, okay. The lamed here is his authority, the power to teach, okay. There's certain things that I don't want you to know, okay. Certain things I don't want you to know. I'm going to hide certain things from you, okay. And because I'm hiding it from you, because I'm the one who's of ancient days, when I talk about hiding something in the ancient, okay. Oh man, this thing is not working. When you think about ancient, somebody answer this question. When we say ancient, what is he saying?
Old.
Fragile.
Yep. Old, right? What else?
Fragile.
Yep.
Our forefathers.
Yep. And you're talking about the past, but also too, something that you and I don't know is he's also talking about that which is in an indefinite future. So I could put something in the ancient past, but also have something in the ancient future, because the past is your future. That's what it is. In Hebrew, that's the thought. So the Most High is saying, I'm hiding this from, the things that I've done. Like you and I can't go all the way to the ancient past and see. That's been hidden from our view. It's hidden from our vision of time and space. We don't know everything that went off and happened back in the past. Okay. We don't know that. And neither do you and I know what's going to happen in the future. Okay. Because Yahweh is not stuck in time and he's not stuck in space. Do you understand? That's what eternity is. So when the Most High gives us a Coke, going back to our initial definition, I'm letting you know that everything that I've done for you and what I said to you is forever, because it's a divine decree. That's what a Coke is. Okay, which is a divine decree. Forever. And if it is forever, that means that you can never change what I said. You can never alter what I said. You understand? Because before there was a before, and because there's an after, and after, I said this, that means that it's forever. You will never be able to change nothing I said, because I told you that I do not change. So when you get a group of people out here that are telling you that I'm no longer going to, you don't have to keep the Sabbath, you can listen to them if you want. When they tell you that the decree about what I said about the Pesach, that's done away with, you can believe them if you want to. That's if you're willing to listen to them. It's always going to be about who you're willing to listen to. Okay. The Hadavar that we found in our Torah portion, he says, this is the thing. This is the thing, the Hadavar. The Davar means word, right? So here's Davar, and Davar means word. Also means to speak. Okay. Okay. And also means a thing. It can also mean a plague. Okay. It's a thing. It's a word. It's a matter. Okay. That's what it is. But he's saying that this is the Ha-Davar. This is the Ha. I mean, I'm pointing a direct object marker straight to what I'm going to tell you. This is the matter that I'm speaking about. This is the thing that I need you to pay attention to, because it's a divine decree. Okay. Because I'm divine. And guess what? If you're going to be compatible with me, then you're going to have to be willing to listen to the divine decrees. That's what Yah is testing us and to find out whether or not we're going to do it. But if you hard harden, you're not going to listen. He says you are to observe this as a Coke. That's a law. That's they have there as a law, but it's called a Coke. And we just found out what a Coke is. A Coke is a what? It's a divine decree. It means that it's unchangeable. Okay. And it's for you and your descendants for Olam. So somebody explain to me, what did he just say? Let's see if you understand. What did he say?
That his word lasts forever. There is no changing it.
There is no end.
Yeah.
So
Generation after generation.
right. So does it matter if they did it in the past? No. 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 I don't care if your ancestors, because he tells us that our ancestors didn't do it. One of the things he says all the time is your ancestors didn't keep the Shabbat, right? They didn't keep it. They had no respect for me. Don't forget this. But I'm telling you that this is forever, because Yah is shaping our character. This is one of the first things that he told us. This is in your Torah portion this week. I'm telling you that this is a Coke. Now, question is, what's the question, everyone? What's the question he's asking us? Are you
Are
what?
we willing? Are we
Are
willing
you
to?
willing? Are you willing?
Oh, I get it now. Hallelujah.
Yeah. Yeah. Are you willing? Because if you're willing, then that means that you are now have become my people. You're now, you have understand that this is divine, and you have respect for the divine decrees. So I want to know if you have this, if you're willing. That's what I'm asking you, right? And given the, not ask, I'm commanding you to shamar. What does shamar mean?
Guard.
I'm asking you to guard what I said. Because so now this goes back to what? The initial proposal that I made to you to shamar what I said. I'm the one who told you about the divine decree. When I spoke it, if you're divine, if you're going to take on a divine nature, now you're becoming divine. Listen to what he's telling us. If you are to listen to the divine decrees, you will begin to become divine in your nature. I'm changing the way that you think. But the question is, are you willing to guard what I said? Are you willing? Are you willing to shema? Are you willing to shamar? Are you willing to call? Are you willing? I use Paro as my example to tell you that, guess what? If you're not going to be willing, what's happened to him is going to happen to you. I want you to know the intention. What's the intention? Okay. I asked the intention because I want you to understand, well, what's the purpose? What's the intent? What is Yah's intent or his intention? Wish my pen would stop tripping. It's the internet, though. It's not really my pen. It's the internet, you guys. It's slow. It's acting slow. So what's the intent?
For us to be like him?
Yes, the intent is when your children ask you, what do you mean by this avoda? I put this in here, said they called it a ceremony. It's not a ceremony. It's really what they would call a service. And that word avoda means service. And that word service means servant. Because the word avad is A-V-D is in there. You guys see the A and the V and the D? Okay.
Yeah.
And that word avoda has to do with the idea of being a servant. Because the word avad, a ayin, a bet, and a dalet is the word that's in avodah. They put the hey on the end to let you know that it's what? Why is there a hey on the end of avodah?
Feminine.
Feminine. So I'm literally telling you that I'm using this again to see, are you what?
Willing.
Is she willing? Is the soul that I'm talking to, is she willing? Isn't that what he's saying?
Ken, yes.
The avoda is for the soul. When Yah gave us a marriage proposal, he's talking to his woman. He's saying, are you willing? My intent is to see if you are willing to do the service. That's what I'm asking you. There's an intent. Your child can either be asking this question because they're Rasha, meaning that they're evil, or they can be asking you because they're Tovim, meaning that they're good. Okay, there's two intentions. One intention is, well, let me ask, because it talks about your children. If it's a young child that just wants to be inquisitive, like, hey, daddy, mommy, what are we doing? They've been seeing this for years and years and years, and you explain it to them. You know, be like, well, we're doing this because, you know, this Most High did for us. But also, too, the other flip side is you got people today that are asking, why do we have to do this? Why are we doing this? That's Rasha. That right there is wicked. What do you mean that it's wicked? Because you have to be able to trust your mother and your father to know that when they tell you something, it's not because they're trying to hurt you. You've been watching them do this for years and years. Either you could be the kind of person that's going to be compliant, right? And fall in line and say, okay, this is what we do, and you understand. You can ask questions. But to ask a question about, you know, why are we doing it? Why do we have to keep doing it? That's wicked. So the individuals out here to telling people that you don't have to keep what Yah says, or why should we have to do that? Because Christ died for you, that's wicked. It's wicked on several levels because, first of all, you don't understand the intent behind Yahweh telling us this. Yah has an intention. Okay. It's not just for you to have an intent, but it's his intention is for us to learn what he's saying. Praise be to Yahweh. Yes, the Psalms 19:7 says, yes, Yah does. The law converts the soul. But the avoda is, are you willing? Davarim says this. Someday, again, this is outside of our Torah portion, because this one right here is in your Torah portion. This is in Shemot 12:26. Davarim says exactly the same thing. Someday your child will ask, what's the meaning of this aduth, the kukim and the mishpatim? I put those words there because those are words that you and I need to be familiar with, which Yahweh Elohim has laid down for you, okay? Then you will tell your child, when we were slaves to Pharaoh in Egypt, and Yahweh brought us out of Mitzrayim with a strong hand. So the aduth is the testimonies, which are the 10 words. The kukim are the decrees. Forget my writing because of, and the mishpatim are what? His judgments. Why are you responding the way that you're responding? Because these are the things that I need to be focused on. The child should be asking you, why are we doing these things? If your child is not asking you these things, it's because you're not laying it down. You're not laying it down. Okay. If you don't have any children, you're going to have children. This is what your responsibility to do is to teach your child about the 10 words of the Most High and let them ask you, and you tell them why. And if you notice when they ask the question, why, there ain't nothing wrong with asking a question. Ma, what's ma? Ma is why? Why are we doing this? What does this mean? Then you can tell them, what's the story? Yahweh brought us out of Mitzrayim. That's the story. That's what he wants us to remember. Okay, because if you don't remember this, then you're not going to remember what he's going to do for you. He's trying to tell you that I'm the Elohim of Mitzrayim that came and took you out of Mitzrayim. I'm the one who visited you. Okay. Tov means to be functional and good. Now listen to this. Yahweh ordered us to observe all these laws, right? To fear Yahweh Elohim always for our own good, meaning our tovim, that which is functional, so that he might keep us alive as we are today. It will be righteousness. It will be righteousness for us if we were to do everything that Yah asked us to do. If we're careful to obey all the commandments before Yahweh Elohim, just as he ordered us to do. He commanded us to do this, right? And this is in the same text that child had asked that question, you know, why are we doing this? Because Yah ordered us to do it, okay? The question is are you Ava? Are you Ava? What does Ava mean? Are you willing? Are you Ava? Aleph, Bet, Hey, right here. Are you Ava? Are you willing? Are you willing? Are you willing to do what he asked you to do? That's the question. And that's always going to be the question. That's something that we haven't been taught. Question is Abba, what do you mean? When he said this is going to be righteousness for us. Well, the Hebrew word for righteousness, okay, it has its root in this word called zod, which is the zadi right here, the wa right here, and the d for the dalet, zod right here. Okay. Those in my Hebrew class. What letter is this?
Dalet.
Thank you. The O, where's the O at? What is this?
The wall.
Yeah, the wall.
Okay. And the TS, or it could be a TZ, is this, the Zadi. Okay. I have this picture here of a person with a bow and arrow in their hand, right?